I was wondering how long you were going to keep it.
I wasn't sure. Hi, everybody,
Ah, Dr. Nick.
and welcome to the 13th instalment
You remembered.
of this podcast that we have named Deciphered. Welcome, I'm Kieran,
I'm Rob.
and we are enjoying the day. I fixed my car today. I'm fucking tired. It's gonna be great.
I went to work.
I did not.
I'm fucking here. Started.
Right, today we will give you a little coverage of what's going on this 13th unlucky... Well, it fucking is unlucky. We'll see it later. We have the news in a moment, followed by the topic of... Is modern technology, such as streaming, such as Spotify, helping or harming the music industry? We will then follow on with a review of the album Disgusting by Beartooth, and we will finish off with the Deciphered Deciphered Tournament Round 3, at least the first match. And with that, which we'll go into more detail later, there's 3 topics per fucking match now. The excitement is uncontainable. Right, news. So, this week, or in the last week, Linkin Park announced that they're going to have an auction of a lot of their old touring stuff.
Yeah, well, fucking, why not? Mm-hmm. Why the hell not? I mean, I haven't actually read into it. Are they donating the proceeds?
I believe a lot of it is going to the charity set up by Chester's wife. Name skips my mind right now. I want to say something like Tandy or something. But yeah, I think it's going towards that charity. Tandy. Kind of awkward.
A little bit.
And yeah, but I'm not sure about that. But not trying to read too far into it. But is this like a sign that like they're selling off old stuff? Is something going to be Chester's? Is it going to be?
I mean, it's definitely like the indication of something, isn't it?
It
It's
does
either
feel like
the
it.
indication of end days, which is a very sad thought, but at the same time, I wouldn't blame them.
Not at all.
However, I don't think so.
You don't think it's the end?
I don't, and that kind of bothers me. I'm not going to lie. It does bother me ever so slightly.
It's weird when a member dies and should a band continue, should they not? Usually I'm in the ballpark if they should, but
Fuck yeah, but
vocalist is always harder.
it is 100%. I mean, it has worked in some cases, obviously, but I don't know. It's individual to the band and the situation. I feel like Avenged. Yes, fucking super sad,
Of course.
but
Best member.
had to carry on.
Yeah.
Had to carry on because it's a machine that just wouldn't stop. Whereas these guys, I mean, they are in their own rights, but they don't have like the die-hard fan base behind them anymore. They've got a different fan base behind them nowadays than they used to. That's fair
Probably
enough.
bigger now, but
It
less
is bigger,
die-hard,
but
yeah.
yeah, that's it. With greater volume comes great responsibility. Or just people that don't really meh about Linkin Park. You know, it's like, oh no, Chester died. We're so sad.
I mean, when I saw some videos of people going to like
I'm gonna listen
vigils
to Post Malone.
and when I saw vigils and stuff like that, there's a massive. There are some diehards still there, but yeah, I'd say compared to Avenged and stuff like that and Slipknot, there isn't as much.
Avenged will always have their kind of set fan base, whereas Linkin Park have changed and chopped and adapted so much as a band, which is cool. Like that's their thing, really. But
Doesn't always work, does it?
well, in the sense of picking up loyal fans, how can you really? If you get loyal fans, they're loyal to whatever it was that drew them to you in the first place. If you're going to constantly change that,
It's interesting stuff.
it is slightly tangential, but yeah, I do think it indicates something.
Yeah. Again, I'm not really too far into it, but I'd like you to agree. Okay, so that's the news. Thank you for joining us, and we will catch you next week. Bye-bye. So yes, the topic. It's an interesting one this week.
It is.
As we mentioned literally minutes ago, the topic is modern technology such as Spotify and streaming sites helping or harming the music industry?
Fucking moist for this topic because, oh man, have I got a lot to say.
Then I feel like you should have that privilege of starting us off. Dun, dun, dun.
Who's got the sheets, everybody? Okay. So I kind of feel like the first step is to identify out of all of the streaming giants, i.e. Apple Music, what was once Groove and is now partnered with Spotify, so Spotify.
There are others.
There are, I'm sure. I think. They exist.
Is Last FM still a thing?
I have
don't know.
no idea. Was it ever a thing?
It was a thing.
I see. Either way.
Might be Kickstarter all this
so
shit. I remember them being there before anyone else, but that's just what I was advertised to me, so
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But we can definitely agree that Spotify and Apple Music are the giants.
Yes, gotcha. So the first step is obviously to identify, which one wins. In your opinion, if I sort of said, given all sorts of things that you could consider, longevity of service, beginnings, how frequently they're used, what devices support which...
It's Spotify.
You reckon?
Spotify.
See, now, most people would 100% say otherwise.
See, Apple's got the name behind them,
Exactly, my friend.
but they're used less.
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, they...
There was a time when Apple Music was virtually the only streaming service that was used, and even when Spotify was free
Right.
for users, just with some shitty little advert breaks in between songs,
They stopped doing that now.
they have for premium members. That's one of the things that you get premium for, is to stop that shit from happening.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure if
exactly.
they do a free service anymore. They might give you like a month up front. Most of them do.
Right, okay.
Like, try our shit, and then we're not going to tell you when we're billing you.
That's what happened to me. Well, they told me I was going to be, which is fair, but...
That's what happens to every motherfucker that got Amazon Prime.
3 months. Oh, Amazon Prime, never had that. But I'd say Spotify are bigger because it's more widely used, and it's a lot more advertised.
But literally, probably about 80-90% of people would be like, no, Apple definitely, because they have the name behind them. But this is the thing. So, humble beginnings of Spotify have brought it to a much wider audience now. Whereas Apple kind of had its set audience there already. Had the kind of thing that made most companies think, like, I want to start a streaming service, but there's just no way I can compete with iTunes. And that was bullshit. That was bullshit all along. Spotify came and fucking trashed that shit,
Good,
motherfucker.
because I hate Apple as a company.
Let's not get into it.
It's a whole other day.
It is. That's a whole other topic. It's not for this podcast. I might start a podcast slating Apple, but just
You,
literally,
half an hour segments every day. Fuck Apple, man!
literally, fuck Macintosh. Article by Digital Trends rated Spotify as the primary service anyway, so we're not even just basing this on our opinion, we're basing this on the opinion of hundreds of people probably that work within a digital marketing company that decided, hey, let's do an article about it. So they've gone away and they've compared notes on all sorts of things like, again, longevity of service, beginnings, how much money the company has running through it now, and ultimately Spotify came out as the winner. So I based a lot of my research on Spotify.
Spotify, I agree with, yeah.
Yeah?
Sorry, I was looking
You
at
right
my
there,
notes. Having a tear to myself. I love apples.
So here's some math. Spotify supposedly pay somewhere between 0.0006 and 0.0084 pence per stream.
Cents, but yeah.
Cents,
Yeah.
pence, where it's still a penny. Is,
Yeah.
But yes.
Right. Sorry, yeah, either way. Which is dire. That's
Less than
no
a
money.
fucking penny.
So unless you are a very well-known band, you're not getting paid much from streaming sites.
Even if you are one of the most well-known artists in the world, do we all know who Taylor Swift is? Band Taylor Swift?
guess
Band
it's
woman?
isn't it?
Is...
You say Marilyn Manson are the band.
This is true. I wasn't sure if it was kind of the same thing. I mean, I don't know who Taylor Swift is.
I mean, I guess she's not really a band. With pop, they don't have bands. They have the artist and the band.
They have the artist in the band that gets severely underappreciated for what they do.
Yeah.
Sick.
Cheers, Taylor.
So, yeah, fucking nice one, Taylor Swift. She's even got her own little episode on fucking American Dad now as well.
Oh.
Bitch, or
Wow.
Family Guy, one of the two.
Wow.
Massive artist, as you know.
Yes.
Probably one of the biggest, if not potentially the biggest female pop star on the planet, at one point anyway. So the first thing to be aware of with all of this is that with the money that Spotify will pay an artist. That 0.006 pence, if we're going to be that horrible about it, the sort of smallest amount that I could find that they've paid in royalties to a band for any of their efforts, that could be split between the artist, the label that they work for, the producers that made the album that the song belongs on, and any lyric writers or extras or anything like that.
Prominent in fucking pop.
Exactly. So 0.0000000 however much is shared between what could end up being like 10 different parties.
Yeah.
That's fucking atrocious.
Yeah, you're getting fuck all money for it.
That's truly atrocious. Now imagine a band that then have to split their tiny little profit between themselves.
Yeah. It's not right. So we're going like based on kind of like we're going not it's not split down the middle kind of thing, but we've got pros and cons here. So this is obviously a con of streaming, in my opinion. I'm using an example that I found similar to yours. So with streaming, it's great for the most popular artists.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, there's no need to pay out for discs and other physicality yet. Yet they receive a payout just for the music. So my example is in 2015 on Spotify, Drake received the most streams of any artist.
How many?
At 1.8 billion streams.
Yep.
For that, he or the overall people involved got an approximate $15 million. That's fucking great.
That is insane. That is absolutely insane. Your camera is doing...
Oh, well, I do apologise, young Bruce. Let's try and give this a little fiddle. Oh, Rob, stop touching me. There we go.
It's probably because of the poster behind us, actually.
It might be. Oh, got a bit too high there.
We're going to have to roll with it, and you're going to have to tell your Vertigo to do one.
He doesn't mean that.
I don't.
So, yes, we will continue. It should be
that's
fine.
fucking insane. $15 million.
Yeah, $50 million is a lot of money.
But
But
it
1.8. But what does it really work out? So yeah, 50 million is great, but if those 1.8 billion streams, so even divided by 10, because there's like 10 songs to an album, for example, 1.8 billion divided by 10 is less money than that, and I'm tired to do maths. Like 180,000 million. Either way, right?
Wow.
Well, then CDs, that's so much more money being made.
Fucking ridiculous amounts. But here's the thing. So you're then essentially you're splitting an album into songs, right? For that. So my example that I picked out was again, Taylor Swift for one particular song, which I'm not sure if we can name.
We can name songs.
Okay, fantastic. "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift.
Shake It Off.
Shake It Off.
Shake It Off.
Has approximately 46.3 million streams upon release and to a certain point when the article was written, I guess. And that made approximately $320,000 on its own.
Right. Great for her.
Great for her. Although, how many people did she have to split that between? We don't know.
Again, yeah, true.
But this is the thing. So that, I mean, nobody's going to complain with that. Even if you're having to give, I don't know, fucking 30 or 40% of that away, it's still a substantial amount of money. Like, you're still going to be like, I got paid for making an album.
Just a song, yeah.
Yeah, just a song even, yeah, there you go. So, most artists are never going to see that many streams across their entire discography. Compilations, covers, and everything else, you know, like guest starring on other people's tracks. Artists are never going to receive that many streams, generally speaking.
No.
Let's take a band like Deftones, for example.
Absolutely not.
Never in a million years will any Deftones song receive 46.3 million streams on a streaming service. So,
just for context, can you bust out your phone and get Deftones and see what their highest rated song is, highest streamed? And this is of all time as well. Because I think I'll be quite interested to find that out and see how many thousands times it's been streamed. So what was Taylor Swift again, sorry?
Shake It Off, 46.3 million streams, and that accumulated approximately $320,000.
And I can almost guarantee without looking that Deftones haven't accumulated that combined.
Yeah, most likely. Let's have a look and see if I can find it.
Do you know the app?
No.
And do not worry, because you
Okay,
can find it
fantastic.
easily. But either
it's
way,
not proving to be very easy. But I mean, that article that I just flicked on then said that a song from their newest album, I think, Gore, is one of their highest streamed of all time. I don't believe that for a second. So
okay,
no,
fair enough.
Not that that means that the album's bad. It's probably all right.
It's just they've got better songs.
Yeah, 100%. They've got songs that have, 100%, like been more universally accepted.
Thought I
Back
saw
to School by Deftones is a more universally accepted song than anything.
See, when when we reviewed them a couple of weeks back and I put them on, I think I remember seeing the highest streamed song was Diamond Eyes.
Interesting. I wouldn't have anticipated that, but yeah, okay. Let's take that for example then. I bet it was less than 1 million.
May have been.
I bet it was. Maybe it was a couple of million at a push. And that is probably very good for a metal band. That should put it in enough context. So basically what we're saying is that artists that we would generally talk about on here don't stand a fucking chance, essentially.
Pretty much, especially in our genre at least, with metal and rock, you've got to be a massive band, Metallica, Maiden, to really make a point out of it. And even then,
It'd be
it's still
interesting
taking away from CD sales.
Yeah, 100%. And it would be interesting to see what Metallica, their most streamed song is, and how much that's made. Because another figure that I managed to extract from the internet, 1 million plays on Spotify equates to approximately $7,000 for the artists or the holder of the rights to the music. So that is potentially the artists, the record label, everyone. $7,000 for 1 million streams. That's shit.
That's effectively the same as buying 700 albums.
Yeah.
And people sell a lot more than 700 albums. So yes, people are getting mugged off by Spotify. No matter what, even the big artists, yeah, they're making good money. Drake, 1.8 fucking billion. No, that was the stream. Sorry, it was.
It was
$15 million.
15.6 million or some shit like that. Wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Even he's getting mugged off because they pay the same rate to everyone. It's just based on your popularity on how much you get because it's how many people listen to you.
100%.
So yeah, I found out that when you put it against CD sales, to gain the same money that you would get from a CD, so just one CD bought from one person, you would need an overall 1,190 songs streamed.
Wow.
So that's over 1,000 streams compared to
one
one
album
CD.
sale.
Yeah, that is mugging off.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
If you want to go out and, we'll get more into how to help a band later, but if you want to go out and you think, so for your favourite bands, granted, I don't buy many albums, I only buy Avenged Sevenfold albums, because I need them. And we'll go into that more in detail in a second as well.
Physicality.
Exactly that, and that we will go into that, not just about Avenged, but physicalness overall. Thank you for reminding me of that, Eddie. That's entirely separate.
Yep.
Now then, I've lost my point. Damn it, Ellie. Basically, yeah, if you want to help a band, then go and buy their CD, because you buying their CD, you're not going to listen to 1,000, almost 1,200 songs of theirs. You're not going to, in your time. Maybe over a long time, but chances are you're not going to listen to one band that many times on Spotify. Just go and buy their album. If you want to help them out, buying their album will do that better.
Essentially, to make it worth your time and the band's efforts, you may as well go and buy the CD, because for you to have their entire CD and be able to listen to any of the songs on it as many times as you so choose, on the flip side of it, you would have to listen to one song off of that album over 1,000 times to even get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Essentially. So it makes no sense.
Right.
However, on the flip side of things, the thing is, the streaming is a non-profitable service.
Yes, you briefly mentioned this beforehand.
I did.
Do indulge.
So, Spotify grows roughly 35 to 42% per year, on average, at the minute.
Okay.
Since its birth and since its, the initiation of its premium service, especially, it has grown between 35 and 42% every year.
Right. Big numbers.
They still lose money.
Still lose money.
They are still losing money. They're growing every year, and they still lose money every single year. So, with a business model that fucking motionless, like even raising the monthly rate for the service for Spotify. So that's roughly what, £8 or something like that at the minute. Even if they raise that to something extortionate like £20 a month, the fact of the matter is the organisation that's charging you for that, i.e. in this case Spotify, isn't actually going to make any more money itself by doing so.
No.
Because all of that money would then have to go to raising the price that they pay the artists.
Yeah.
So realistically, from a business perspective, Spotify are in no advantageous position to do anything in terms of growth. It's just happening. People are just subscribing to the service and artists are getting paid more. But then...
Isn't it interesting?
I mean, it is interesting. The same sort of concept applies, really. When you think about it, and I will go on to this because this is my point. This is my overall point that I have stood by for a very long time, and it's been really satisfying to have some articles sort of confirm very similar thoughts, actually. And this is the first time I've ever read up on this as well. So with a business model that motionless, there's no point in Spotify actually growing from their perspective, essentially. So why do they? Why do they carry on doing a service that's basically killing their business slowly? And in actual fact, if they raised the price every month, they would technically, and I'll explain this in a sec, but they would technically be meeting the demise of their own business quicker by raising the prices.
Right, okay.
By them doing that, they gain nothing. The artists gain a little bit more, and they probably lose some subscriptions to people that can't afford to pay, don't want to pay 20 odd a month or whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely. They'll kill their own business by raising the prices.
So essentially, they're at a stalemate. They've gotten themselves into a business that's taken off the ground massively, is doing better than one of the world's largest streaming services that's been around for fucking generations, it feels like. And they can't back out and they can't go forward. So why do they carry on doing it?
Exactly, I was about to say, what is the answer to it?
My personal opinion, and this is an opinion, it's a platform, it's a stage. And in that sense, are they technically therefore doing the artists the biggest favour that they can possibly do? Or could they be, is what I will extrapolate onto very soon.
Extrapolate.
Extrapolate. We will go on to that. But think about that for a second. Why would you, from a business perspective, if you were in charge of Spotify, what other reason could you potentially think of, even, to stay in business when you're losing money? So what stops you from wanting to cut your losses and run, basically?
Well,
at that
nothing
point in time?
stops me. If you lose money, you don't want to be part of that business anymore. It's not how businesses run. I mean, the only thing that could work is if he threatens to close down Spotify and artists help them out. But what's the alternative? If streaming stops, what's the alternative? It's going back to CDs. And I'm pretty sure every fucking artist out there would prefer that.
Arguably. They would at least prefer that kind of business model, because the thing about getting signed to a record label and producing music that way is that you're usually, anyway, in pretty much every case, artists, bands, pop stars will get cut an exclusive deal. So Machine Head go to Roadrunner. I'm not sure if they still are. Don't know. But
I don't think they are. But
when they went to Roadrunner, and Roadrunner would then say, okay, we like this sample of music that you've given us. We're going to make you a deal. You make 2 albums with us. If you achieve this much, we'll cut you this much percentage back. If you over-exceed that, we'll cut you this much percentage back, so on and so forth. Generally speaking, the way that those deals are made is money up front for the work that they've done. So they'll produce an album. They'll obviously be endorsed so that they've got funds to make the album. And then they will go ahead, they'll go and make that with the studio's money. They'll make the money back on the album that they owe the studio and the label, sorry.
Yep.
And then anything else after that is split between, that's when the business model comes into play. That's when the rest of the money is split between the artist, the producer, all the bullshit.
Yeah.
So realistically speaking, that is a very long and arduous process. Yes, you get paid up front, but you piss most of that money up the wall making the album, and then you wait around for profits to come in if they do, even in some cases, there are bands that have probably made albums 6-7 years ago that haven't made enough money back.
No, it's correct. Yeah.
So in that sense, really, is Spotify not doing the biggest favour of all by giving artists a reason to say, fuck record labels and their 70% cuts from our royalties?
But those same fees go to it through streaming.
At the minute, yeah. And this is my point. So, at the minute, I feel sorry for virtually every artist that tries to make music in the world today, because there is a very unstable streaming platform that makes virtually no money for anybody involved. However, the distribution is there.
Yep.
It is now becoming the most widely accessible way to listen to new music, is to have a streaming service. Synced up to your phone, to your fucking car, to your computer, to your Xbox, your PlayStation, everything. You can have the same account synced to every single one of your devices that supports it now. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, it's much more accessible than a CD, because you can only play a CD in a CD player.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's one side of it already that's an advantage over that. The choice that they're faced with at the minute is, do we carry on streaming and basically make no money but get our music heard? To what end? If you're never going to make money from it, if people are always going to take the non-profit way of listening, to what end? People could say like, oh, well, it's gaining us popularity. For what? For what?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, in terms of arguing for, and based on what you said to an extent, so streaming has been shown to cut down illegal downloading of music.
Yeah.
That's great, because at least getting some money for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather have 0.00016 pence than 0 pence. Now, that's good. On top of that,
I mean, through the process of rounding down, you pretty much have 0 pence anyway.
yeah, exactly, yeah. However, what also helps with streaming is brand new artists, small artists, are getting heard a bit more. Now, it's down to Spotify and Apple Music, and I've actually heard from a good source that Apple Music is actually better with the rock side of things when it comes to playlists and discovering new bands than Spotify are. You go on Spotify and you'll they'll put like, oh, Discover Weekly, and they'll be
Mostly like trap, rap, bullshit.
or
crap.
even with rock, it'd be the new, it would be bands that everyone knows about anyway.
Yeah, like
Oh,
classics
Discover.
and stuff. Like
Discover
Discover, Guns
Beartooth.
N' Roses.
Discover Beartooth, right? And so yeah, from
Is
that,
she even watching?
I don't know. I think it's just one person at the moment, but they fucking should be. Now,
Whoa,
another thing.
that was scary.
What happened?
Well, I nearly burnt the end of my finger off because my cigarette decided to stay in
Oh,
my mouth.
I've done that. Horrific stuff.
I've maybe done that. I don't know.
Now, also going against the con, so as a pro,
Yeah.
there are many, probably the majority of people these days, that won't go out and buy an album and would rather illegally download. I've already gone through that. Piracy has been an issue for a while. Streaming cuts us down due to the ease of it. They just go, oh, fuck it, I'll just pay £10. It's
Again,
easy.
accessibility, ease of access.
Yeah, ease
It's
of
right
access.
there on virtually any one of your devices.
It's just also people...
Give it like 5 years, and people's fucking electric razors will be able to sync their Spotify accounts to it, so that you can listen to some fucking Guns N' Roses while you shake in the mornings.
I'm now imagining an umbrella synced to Spotify. Thanks, Rihanna. And so, with that in mind,
Yeah.
and even away from illegally downloading, people just, especially in the pop world, are less likely to go out and buy an album. Now, this has actually come out with the same with artists. Now, I'm not sure. I class this as a con because this is happening because of streaming, and that is people like Beyonce and Kanye West. They've released stream-only albums now, I think.
Yeah.
Right, so both surprise releases, I think. Don't quote me on that one. It's one of two. It's either surprise releases or just streaming. And they've gone, I don't want to... Oh, fuck, why should I spend out so much money creating CDs if people aren't going to buy them anyway? And they're just going to stream it. So, they're... Same on that, but personally for me, I'm a big fan of physicality. I like my physical disc. I like my physical artwork. Yeah,
You like
get...
your Beyonce on the shelf. don't
Of course. Kanye up on my wall. Now, what I don't like, you get artwork with, like if you buy and download an album fully, rather than streaming it, if you buy it, you get the artwork in a PDF file version, It's not the same. I like having the artwork. I like looking through the books. That's just a little thing.
I mean, at that point, why do you even give a fuck about the album artwork?
Exactly.
Like, if you're going to stream it, you're just there to listen to
It's
it.
a photo, isn't it? Yeah, really. But with the actual artwork.
Here's a JPEG.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it looks lovely.
Here's a JPEG of my album cover. Yeah.
So good. You can find it on Google, but you just paid £10 for this. Thanks.
Literally.
So I like my physicals. I'm old school with that. I don't want to see the end of CDs. And what sucked a little bit was with the stage by Avenged. The second part of it, they were just going to release as a stream only, the deluxe version.
Wow.
And then fans went, well, no, we fucking love our CDs, and it's more prominent in the rock and metal world to have our physicality. We're old school with it, so they're like, okay, fair enough. Here's a physical edition.
Yeah.
And I've got it. It's great. I don't like stream.
At the very, very least, you get a lot of bands nowadays that will release an album for stream like a month or so before you get a physical disc. You do get a lot of that. A Day to Remember with their like own like self-produced efforts, Common Courtesy, they did that. They sent it out for a stream, and maybe it was the result of fans being like, "Dude, no." Right? But then the physical, and this is something that bugs me, and I don't know why, because there are probably environmental and green reasons for it.
Yeah, no
But
doubt.
I cannot fucking stand when they say like, oh, okay, yeah, here's a CD, and it comes in a fucking wallet. I want a case. Man.
Yeah, I want a case
I
too.
want a plastic fucking case with awesome artwork on the spine that when you have all of the albums, makes a picture. Iron fucking Maiden right over there, except half of them are over there.
Excellent. Case in point.
Yeah, case in. I'm not going to show you.
No CD case.
Yeah, you got that case in point.
Oh,
case in point.
My ninja.
Moving swiftly on. So, yes, definitely a major con, I feel, anyway. Not having a disc kind of sucks. So, we're kind of, again, we're at a crossroads now where it's like, okay, so maybe there's sense in streaming, but we like our physicality. And, you know, artists could stand to make more money, like, through album sales. Maybe. Nowadays, definitely not. Nowadays, definitely not.
What, through album sales?
Mm-hmm. If it was the only medium that we had left, sure.
Right.
But it's just not anymore. And this is the thing. And no matter how many regulations we try and put around music, due to the fact that the rest of technology grows ever fucking stronger and marches forward, CDs that you'll put into your car eventually will have, some cars probably already have the capability where you can pretty much burn a disc to save to your car, essentially, so that you no longer need to remember to bring the disc out every morning when you're in a rush to get to work. It's just there. And with shit like that going on, and with the fact that all of these files are now obviously on a CD, which means that they are a computerized fucking file at the heart of it, means that they will forever be on the internet. They will forever be available to illegally download because people will torrent that shit.
Sorry, we're just having some technical issues right now because it keeps zooming.
I think it's that
is.
motherfucker right there. I don't know.
It's fine, we can keep it, let's just roll with it, but I might have to just keep smudging you now and again. Our loyal fans. Smudge the fans.
So, back on the flip side then. We've covered that. So yeah, I essentially asked myself the question, like I asked you a minute ago, why would somebody carry on fronting a business that is losing them money? And the only reason that I could really think of, because obviously people could say like, oh well, you know, it's a business plan, it's an investment kind of thing. Like
Slightly closer to you.
Will
to try and block us
out. People could say, see, I feel like that's potentially made it worse.
Let's see how it goes. Oh, you might be right. Yeah, it's probably feeling worse.
I'm not even sure if it is that, you know. I think it's because I'm like closer to the actual side of the camera. Technical issues, people.
Yeah, we're always improving.
We'll be back after this announcement.
He's gay.
Alrighty then. You fucking thrown me
Sorry,
right
you
off now.
posed a question before about
Yeah,
with the business.
fucking. Do you really think I'm gay?
No, I don't think I know.
Excellent.
He's not
So
gay.
yeah, so fucking.
Sorry, lads.
Sorry. I kind of the only point that I could really reach in the end was that they're obviously doing it to give artists a stage, a platform to do all of this on that is widely accessible. Now, some people might say, well, it's a smart business plan then, isn't it? Because like they appreciate that they'll make a loss at first, but once people make that transition fully and CDs are no longer a thing, people will pay for the service. Is that actually strictly it, though? I don't necessarily think so. I personally feel like there is a massive, massive flaw that if was exploited in the right way, would make everyone involved in the process of making music and streaming it and being the business that streams it, and you know, people pay the service and the fans get to listen to their music and help and support artists that they love to make more music. For me, the answer is fucking simple. Record labels are basically becoming obsolete nowadays. It is getting that way. Because realistically, originally, all a record label was intended to do was provide you with distribution.
Yep.
Make your CDs, send them out to CD shops that no longer exist.
Making fair points here, yeah.
So the distribution side of it, that a record label can take care of, and essentially the only reason to have a record label under your belt, is gone. My question then becomes, well, okay, so Spotify are carrying on kind of losing money because they're part of a machine that physically can't stop now. Why do the record labels carry on? Because they're going to be losing money. If they're not already, they will be soon enough. And then it slapped me in the face massively. The thought that I've always thought kind of underneath everything, suddenly I had evidence to back up. Like, at the end of the day, the answer to me is real simple. Spotify struggle financially at the minute. Now, originally, Spotify started by receiving donations and endorsements and probably cutting deals with record labels that said, here, okay, you can play the music that we have under our label, but we want this much money from you. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, well, if you invest in the service, I can promise you a percentage of this back over time. Like, business deals like that were put in place. But that's how they originally got their money. That's how they started Spotify, was essentially going to record labels and saying, we want to play this band's music. We want to, like, provide
excuse
people...
me. Sorry, I had a cold.
Sensual. We want to provide people with, like, you know, a medium to listen to this band's music, with the idea that we'll charge them to do so, kind of thing. So obviously at some point record labels have been like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, let's chuck fucking 20 grand your way and see what you make of it, kind of thing. Probably the worst thing they ever did.
It's very likely they've built up Spotify and Apple Music or any streaming site to have this, well, the open range of all music.
Exactly. So my question at that point is, why would record labels continue to do that when, if I owned my own record label that was even as popular as Epitaph or Roadrunner or anything like that, I would dissolve my business, I would invest everything into the king of streaming, in this particular instance, according to a few people and a few articles, Spotify. Mm-hmm. I would literally liquidize my building, my organisation even, my record label, that's the one. Invest all of my money into Spotify, become a shareholder or a stakeholder in that business, and let's say that I do own a ridiculously decent record label. I've just chucked probably millions of dollars at Spotify, who can then pay and cut deals with artists the way that a record label would, take care of distribution on a much wider scale than any record label ever could, and be able to pay artists up front to make more music straight away.
It's definitely...
Essentially, why don't Spotify, Apple Music, and any other service become the record labels?
You push good points. It's a bit of a conundrum because there's loyalty between bands and record labels.
In some cases, there's absolute sheer hatred between bands and their record label.
Yes, including lawsuits at times.
A lot of times, actually, yeah. In fact, probably about straight down the middle at 50% I would go to. 50% of the bands that you listen to have probably had a legal dispute with their record label at some point.
I can think of two examples off the top of my head, of course. It's definitely a conundrum, the situation you've posed, but it's an interesting one. Like, it would work.
It would work
to have them as the new record label.
Essentially,
you have
yeah.
no record label.
Imagine Netflix. Netflix started off as a video rental service or a DVD rental service. They have now pioneered that front so well digitally.
Rest in peace, Blockbuster.
Yeah, literally. Literally. Rest in peace, every single fucking record label out there. Because Spotify will then become the Netflix of the streaming world.
Yeah.
And eventually it will get to the point where they've made so much fucking money because, you know, everyone's involved in it and everyone's winning from it, that they'll be able to say, right, here's a new band. And it started from Spotify. It's owned by Spotify. The same as like when Roadrunner did their compilation album, same sort of thing. But it's basically the same thing as a Netflix original.
But the thing is, with the massive con in front of us, with Spotify being every record label going, a record label's job is to promote their 50-odd bands and get them out there. Spotify can't do that with that many bands. Yes, they can put them on, we're streaming music, but that's not promoting them like record labels do. With Roadrunner was a great example, because I used to be on the street team back in the day with Craig Swifty Howe. And you have people go out there, you wouldn't have that from Spotify. They can't push every artist from every genre, it's just not going to work. That's where it goes a bit wrong.
You have to appreciate then that with that many record labels like dissolving their businesses and investing their money into Spotify, their growth would be insane, beyond belief. They could hire more people. They could have people that did
specific genres, a good team of each one.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like they could have fucking hundreds of developers and shit working on specific parts of the streaming service. They could have hundreds of marketers and like marketing graduates and shit like that. They could churn out new jobs. I mean, if you wanted to get real fucking economical with it, it could really generate a lot of jobs and a lot of money.
I guess they would have to. It's economical, yes, but that's the whole point of them surviving further if they're going to dissolve all these other marquee fucking businesses. I mean, it could work. It would take a lot of time.
I don't really think that we have a choice, and this is my answer to the overall question, which, to recap, is technology, modern technology, i.e. streaming services, good or bad for the music industry? In my mind, they don't have a choice. It can be, it could be engineered in a way that could be very beneficial for the main people that should be benefiting from it, i.e. the artists and the people that actually make the fucking music.
So, you've changed my answer from when I first came in this room today.
Excellent, I like that,
So, streaming was the main topic of the modern technology, but I'm going to touch on social media in a moment quickly, because I feel like it needs a good mention. And it has an entirely different answer to streaming. And when I walked in today, my answer was, it's not helpful. It's not helpful at all. In fact, I'll quickly touch on a few more bullet points, because streaming can be used to help if they're used in the right way. So Matt Heafy from Trivium, he often streams on Twitch, and he'll stream the live shows.
Yeah.
He'll stream stuff like that. So it's
good publicity, good media.
Yeah, Twitch is, if you don't know what it is, it originated with gaming, watching people play games, and then they would have a little camera of themselves, and they would talk during it, and people somehow latch onto that. So yeah, Matt Heafy, he uses Twitch with advantage. He streams music, he streams live shows, other such things. He's learned how to use it to benefit him more than just the typical Spotify and Apple Music. I would add, for us as podcast hosts, streaming's fucking great because we can review albums without having to pay for their bullshit. It's fantastic, even though we're technically paying for it.
Case in point, soon to come.
Yes. So, before I go on to what I feel is right, I'm pushing the point for now. It's more important than ever. Ether? With a TH.
It's more important than ether.
Yes, the ether. It's more important than ever to buy merch and go to live shows.
Buy our merch!
Yeah, buy their merch.
Buy their fucking
We
merch.
are dead, remember. Please buy our merch.
Buy our merch!
So it's more important than ever to buy the merch, and it's more important than ever to go to live shows, because that is the best way to fund a band at this current time, unless you want to go out and buy a bunch of CDs. But really, go to a gig. So personally, for those that know me, I have 28 Avenged Sevenfold t-shirts. A good almost half of them, or maybe even half of them now, came from gigs. And
That's the fucking way it should be, though.
yeah,
It's
so
extortionately expensive, but
it
that's
is.
the way it should be.
But if you can go out your way and buy that 25 quid t-shirt, or if you're like me, go to 4 event shows in 1 week and you spend 150 to 200 pounds on merch, well, do what you can. But if you can buy a £25 t-shirt, I've now started buying more t-shirts because I went to Guns N' Roses and I was like, I have to have a once in a lifetime t-shirt. And then from then I was like, well, now I'm not wearing Avenged, so I might venture out. And then when I was looking at this the other day, I was like, in fact, I'm really helping that artist. Think about Miles Kennedy played recently. He's a massive artist in his band of Alter Bridge or with Slash, but as a solo artist, he's not, and he needs money. He's playing 200 cap venues. That 25 quid to me, to wear a t-shirt that was pretty awesome, was nothing. I don't even miss the money.
You don't think about it, do you?
You don't,
After
no.
you've parted with it, it might be about 25 quid for a t-shirt, fucking hell. Once you've done it,
Yeah, exactly.
you don't think about
And
it.
even if you're on the lower side of having money, I'm not saying I'm rich, but I'm certainly not poor. Just attending that live show, you've made them some money. That is better than That is better than just listening to them on streaming sites or buying a CD. Although CD is better. Anywho, back onto my verdict of streaming specifically. I came into this room with streaming's bad for modern music. It helps new bands get noticed more, but that was about it. I'm now sticking with that to an extent of today. I think looking forward, things could change to make it more beneficial. But at this current time, I still think it's not helpful for music. They need a lot to change. And if that works out, then things could change a lot.
I think Spotify as a business would be in a better position than any record label would do. Because a record label has a very small amount of money underneath it, considering that some of the bigger record labels that have the most money out of all of record labels still have to pay hundreds of people a wage and have to, split their proceeds accordingly, I guess. I think Spotify as a business are just in a generally much better position to do that. I think it would depend on whether or not they started cutting artists' deals, proper deals, exclusive deals, and started paying them up front to actually produce more music once that album is done, kind of thing.
It's interesting.
Very much so. So,
Touching... Oh, sorry, have you got something...
well, no, I was just literally about to round everything up, but if you've got
Just
something
touching on
else to say.
social media as a whole.
Yes.
Because that's another thing. To be fair, I haven't written anything down. It popped into my head while we're talking that we've only touched on streaming. But streaming is the most vital part of this topic, hence the reason we've gone so deep into it. Especially Rob, because I didn't. Effectively. Now, social media. Great platform for music.
100%.
It's not as good as it was back in the days of MySpace, because that was fucking great. MySpace was made for new music.
Yeah,
Or any
arguably.
music.
I
Go
found
on.
more local bands that way. But
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Me versus the fucking Atlantic.
Yeah.
MySpace that
sure.
shit up all the time.
Desperate Cycle, definitely.
Oh,
Bit of Simbo.
my days. Despised icon.
We'll definitely talk about local bands more in the future with a guest. And but like even these days, this day and age, so Twitter and Facebook aren't as prominent in it as MySpace was. But a perfect band that popped into mind is I Prevail. They are, in my head, the first social media band. They were nothing. They got shared to shit on Facebook. They obviously paid for a lot of sponsor. They kept appearing on my wall, and within a space of months, they had thousands upon thousands of fans. I'm calling them a social media band because of it was through Facebook that everyone noticed them. Maybe locally, obviously, that's different, but to get that big that quickly, they're fucking huge now.
Yeah, massive
and
band.
they were not heard of about a year ago.
It's crazy, isn't it? And I have a feeling that a similar sort of thing has happened with Code Orange, except I don't think it was their own efforts that put them out there. I think a few people were like, oh, you have to hear this band, they're crazy, they're wild, they're
Different.
yeah, okay, let's go with that.
Yeah.
That's podcast friendly.
Yeah.
We're diplomatic about these things, honestly. Stay tuned. But yeah, so
Just
I think to round everything off then, right now, streaming is essentially a stagnant thing within music, and music industry in itself is stagnating. So everything's stagnant. In the future, there is real strong potential for that to be a very beneficial platform across every aspect, really, because the publicity is there. With more money underneath them as a business, they could think about other ways that they could market bands and like get them out there. It could be a good thing.
It could be, and I feel like when you put it down into how it is, streaming has already made a lot of change to the music industry, but to really make it right, it's either not going to happen or it's going to change everything.
100%. Yeah, there's going to be no like 50% in this.
No.
There's going to be no grey area. If it takes off fully, it is 100% going to shape the way that we listen to music from now on.
Yeah.
Forever.
And personally, for me anyway, I don't want to lose physical CDs. I want them for the rest of my life. I'm glad vinyl's making a comeback, so I'll start collecting those eventually. But and I don't want to see hard-working people like Roadrunner, even though I swear they went down once already. But Roadrunner, Capitol Records, fuck Warner Brothers, but Capitol Records, other certain Epitaph as well, and Nuclear Blast. They're all really hard workers. Granted, I don't know many other like.
There's
record labels. There's a bunch. EMI, Sony, they're still about. But I'm obviously talking about the ones that I know personally from the bands that I like, and I know that they're all fucking hard workers.
And they've produced some fucking crazy albums.
Yeah, throwing Hopeless Records there too. So yeah, that's effectively the topic.
Yeah.
Cool.
Doesn't really help us right now, but it could do in the future.
Could do. It's unpreferred now. So. Next up, we have the review of Disgusting by Beartooth. Now, before we get into this, I want to point out that this is episode 13. This is the 13th review we've done. However, I should think it's the 14th, because we did one week, we did two. Regardless of that, I know we didn't, because we didn't have a week. Regardless of that, Beartooth Disgusting, this is the first time that Rob and I have actually discussed, not in full detail, but gone through it beforehand. We've given our basic opinion. This is it's not usual to happen, it just kind of happened.
And we feel like we should be honest about this.
Yeah, of course, we are honest with you. I also got a little comment today when we promoted this.
Oh yeah.
Gareth Pathy, a fan of ours, he said this is his top 5 album for him. So let's get started.
Let's. Do you have a track by track?
I do have a track by track.
I have a track by track.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice.
So, I'll give the opening if you don't mind. So we start off with the song The Lines. Who the fuck coughs to open a track?
Literally, don't cough in my ears, bruh.
Yeah. Who the fuck... Oh yeah, it's got a little bit of guitar. Fuck off, if you've got a cold, sit down, mate. I don't fucking want to hear it. Fucking bellend.
Totally agreed. Not a good way to open an album for me.
No.
Straight away, I was just like, oh god.
If there's one thing... Sorry.
Within the first 10 seconds, I was bracing. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
dearie me.
Don't fucking
Right.
cough, you cunt.
Yeah,
If there's one thing worse than coughing,
We'll
it's
get to
this
it.
man's vocals.
okay. I was thinking more about how the album ends.
Oh no, we'll get to that too.
We'll get to that. We'll fucking get to that.
So, we'll get to that. Just click what
mate.
it was as well. I knew there was something on here.
100%.
But he goes in to try and scream, and not it's just fucking strain.
It is,
He's
man.
not trying to cough. He's just coughing and taking a shit. That's what the album is.
The plots are even there.
It's fucking diabolical. Gareth, what the fuck are you doing? Right, that's just the first song. This
Which
gets me
goes on
riled
to the
up.
fucking next one. Beaten in Lips. What a name. What the fuck? Who's gonna beat in your lips?
Yeah, beating the lips. Oh, he hit me.
Yeah, he's beaten in my lips, mama. Fucking what? I like the pace of the song. I actually like the speed and the music to a degree. The minute he starts fucking whatever it is, just not even screaming, it's like dying over
Literally
the mic.
straining. His boyfriend probably squeezed his bollocks so hard he's screaming like that. I'm just assuming he's got a boyfriend rather than a girlfriend. That's probably bad of me. Back to the first one quickly. Sorry, his soft voice is all right.
It is. It's
He
mildly
could
okay.
actually deal with it. But onto Beating in Lips, I just put, is this the new age emo? Like an actual question.
Essentially.
Because the lyrics are very emo. So very emo.
So very emo. And I actually did put that for Beaten in Lips as well. I like the pace. I hate his vocals. Until he sings. He can kind of sing.
Yeah.
They are my exact words. He
And
can
the
kind of
instrumentals
sing.
aren't awful. We'll go on to the contrast between, for me anyway, the instrumentals and vocalist at the end. But next song is Body Bag. I have nothing written for it. It was literally not even worth mentioning.
I just put ugh.
Ugh, right.
And
cool.
the scream at the end of the song, no. Like, so the music drops and it's just him going for like 7 seconds straight. Now,
This has been
I'm
a
not-
hard week.
I am not adverse to people having a vocal that stretches out over the music at the end. I don't. That can work sometimes.
Yeah, good old scream.
Why do it for 7 seconds? Why do it for 7 seconds when you sound like a pig getting butt fucked?
Yeah.
Why?
Jesus.
I just don't understand.
On happier notes, in between.
Mildly better.
I just put better, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, mildly better. And that's about all we're going to say on that.
Now, here's our difference of opinion.
Relapsing.
Back to awful ear death.
I hate the opening, because I really do. The chorus sticks, though. The chorus does stick. And it has a bit of an anthem feel to it. I kind of appreciated it, to a degree.
Fair enough.
Ignorance is bliss. This song is not.
I literally put, ignorance is bliss is how I felt about this band before knowing them.
Yeah. That's apt.
Yeah.
I have a problem.
Is that the song name?
That is the next song name. And I don't fucking care.
I thought you were just stating something.
I mean, I do have a problem. I have a fucking problem.
Oh yeah, I have a problem. It's your vocals.
Yeah, stop fucking whining, you little bitch. One more is the next song.
One more
I
song.
literally put, I wish. I wish there was
I
only
put
one
not
more.
as shit question mark because I couldn't tell if I was dying inside and getting used to terrible music or it was actually a little bit better.
I was going to make a joke about being at a concentration camp, but I'll pass. Me in my own head.
Me, my own head. I wrote nothing. It literally did nothing for me.
Okay. I actually put, again, music. Musically, it's pretty cool. Vocals just don't do it for me.
No.
They just do not do it for me. Keep your American dream.
Again, wrote nothing.
I wrote, don't tell me what to fucking do, you whiny little dick.
Yeah.
Sorry if you were expecting a genuine review of an album, but
This is a genuine review on an album.
We assumed we were going to be listening to music.
Yeah.
Dead is the next song. Yup. I am. I don't know about you, but I definitely was
It's
right there.
literally so overlooked that I didn't write this one down. So I didn't
Fantastic.
notice it as a track.
Dead. Yup. Music again is alright though. I'm sensing a theme. Which leads us to sick and disgusting.
What the fuck is going on? I wrote. Definitely the new emo. Who the fuck?
Why are you fucking crying?
Who the fuck? I'm getting the wrong part. Who the fuck cries? Literal cries at the end of an album. Now either you actually cried, or you faked a cry to add something to the album. What the? This is the worst fucking album we've reviewed on this fucking podcast. This is tripe.
Don't
Now-
fucking cry, bro.
Who
Don't fucking
cries? Any credibility you had, which was not much, to close an album. Now,
Especially seeing as he's crying to his daddy.
Right, by this point, I know
crying to
the
his
lyrics
fucking
were
daddy.
emo, but I
He's
don't
crying
want
to his daddy. Who the fuck cares? If you don't like making shit music, don't cry to your fucking dad about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, this podcast isn't exactly professional. I'm not going to go downstairs and bitch to my fucking parents about it, am I? Like, I'm not exactly an amazing podcast host, and he's definitely not an amazing vocalist. I'm not going to go and cry to my fucking dad.
You're a much better fucking podcast host than he is a vocalist.
thanks, babes.
It's alright, bro. I mean, you could be sat here blind, deaf and dumb, and you'd still be better than him. It's not an insult to you, that's just to say insult of how bad this guy is.
I could be not sat here and be doing a better job at hosting a podcast than he does a vocalist, I feel. And that is our review of Disgusting by Beartooth.
I want to point out the contrast between vocalist and music. Now, the music is alright. I can deal with it. His soft vocals are alright.
I could just
This is the first time... I can't think of any other album where the vocalist style, so the attempted screaming, brings down the album so much that I can't even contribute the music that much. Because it ruins this album, this band entirely. Now, another thing I don't usually do, I don't usually tell people, like, everyone can like what they want.
Do not
I
listen to this
genuinely
fucking
think
album.
you have a shit taste in music if you even slightly like Beartooth. They are a abysmal. They are a fucking stain on our fucking music scene, sorry. Gareth, what the fuck are you doing? Sophie, what the fuck are you doing? Courtney, what the fuck are you doing?
Courtney
I
as
don't
well.
get it. I believe Courtney likes them, yeah. I
Damn.
can't deal with it. I
Madness.
listened to one song Tuesday last week, after the last podcast. I had to have a three-day break. Friday, I listened to one more song. Nah. Sunday, I did all the work. I had to listen to it once. And this is not... And usually we say things, oh, I'm glad that grew on me. Like Architects a couple of weeks back. So like, oh, I thought it was all right. And it
This
grew on
was
me
a
more.
chore, wasn't it?
This was a chore.
Fucking.
There's a
pain
time where
stick.
you know that if you listen to it 3 or 4 more times, it's still going to resonate with you as fucking dog shit. Rob, what have you reviewed the album?
Let's console the old shit, shall we? Musically, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Nothing great, but it's okay. The vocals are drier than Gandhi's feet. And that just bugs me with how whiny he is, especially. I just wanted to cut someone.
His soft vocals have potential.
They kind of do. Interestingly enough, I didn't know this. Again, I credit Sophie for this. Did you know, have you ever heard of a band called Attack Attack?
Yes.
Did you know it's the same vocalist?
I haven't heard the music, so I wouldn't know. But
Okay,
no,
I think it's the same vocalist. At least the vocalist from Beartooth is a member of Attack Attack.
Right.
Before that shit went south. Learn your fucking lesson, dude. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, he fucks me off. He's whiny as fuck. I guess I can see why they appeal to a certain crowd.
the deaf.
But it's usually the crowd that hates life the most and cuts wrists.
Wow. Okay. Deep. Not the cut. The comment. But there's things. There's bands out there that are emo as fuck. MCR, for example, who don't. They know. I can't comprehend it. At least they know what they're doing. Gerard Way wouldn't scream if he couldn't. Oh, he rarely screams anyway, but he wouldn't if he couldn't. And this guy, I don't know if he's... I'm thinking of the band members in the band and going, I love playing with this guy. He's a really great vocalist. I wish for anyone that's deciding not to listen to it, that I could play a snippet, the fucking opening track, first 20 seconds of the coughing like a cunt, and then screaming like a bigger fucking cunt. Sorry for the language. I'm not sorry for the language. It's just this time. Ploy, sorry. Please. As you were.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Okay, do you have a rating? Because I've got a rating. Should I bust mine out?
Yeah.
I'd give it a 2. A 2 out of 10, and you're fucking lucky to get it. You could have been a 4 or a 5 at a push without that screaming. That's how bad it is. It rips it down.
I feel
Screaming.
like I potentially gave the music a bit more credit than you did. Because I agree, the soft vocals, maybe could go somewhere with that. With the music, it worked in a couple of places having the soft vocals, but I think they would have to change the music. But I liked the music. If anything else, I just wish they'd change vocalists. If they changed vocalists, they could actually potentially be a band. So
Yeah,
I
or
would-
if you
I
just
would
didn't
maybe-
scream or cough or cry.
especially if he didn't fucking cry like a bitch. Whoa.
And we're back.
Whoa. Now
That
was
was
the
scary.
scariest shit in the world. What the fuck just happened there?
Connection, bro. Says we're full.
No, it doesn't. It says something, though.
That's full.
Yeah,
Full Wi-Fi.
alright.
Apologies for that. Our connection just cut a little bit. If you missed it, fuck this album.
Fuck this
I
album.
rate it a
straight
2.
in the fucking arse. I rated it a 4.
4. Wow,
Because-
that's fucking high.
I mean, that is
That's the
quite high.
same
That
as-
is being generous, extremely generous. But that's because it's perhaps a bit of a pity rating as well for the rest of the band because they did put in some work. And
So-
it got shat on.
Where you said you gave the music a bit more than you thought, I also gave mine a bit more than I thought. It was originally a 1.
Interesting.
And then I decided 2 because the music's not bad, but I'm rating the album as a whole, and he made it unbearable. So I think you're lucky to have 2.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
thank fuck we're never reviewing that again.
Literally.
Thank you for joining us on our podcast. Oh wait, no, just thanks for joining our review. We hope you inspired. We inspired you to listen
Never
to anything else.
Beartooth
Yeah.
ever again.
So, move on to our final part of the evening. The decisive tournament round 3.
Oh!
3 topics per match. The first match is Avenged Sevenfold versus Black Sabbath.
Oh my God! It's time to bust the tub out. Time to bust the tub out.
Bust the tub
Bust
out.
the tub out. Moving swiftly on from my demonic phase just then. So yes, as forementioned, 3 topics now. Round 3, 3 topics.
Mm-hmm.
Per band, per round. Fuck yourself.
Excellent.
I believe, seeing as Avenged is your baby, you should have the con.
First pick. Second pick to you.
Third pick to you.
Excellent. So they will be done on the premise of in this order. And we'll be discussing Avenged first, then Black Sabbath first and Avenged second. Vocalist.
Image and artwork.
And discography.
Oh my days.
Yes, absolutely.
So, let's not do the same mistake that we always do, and let's lay these out.
Lay them out. Yeah,
Lay them out in
makes
order.
sense to lay them
In
out.
order.
Yeah.
In order.
Lads.
What, mate? Come on, this shit you do.
So, vocalist for Black Sabbath, sir.
I mean,
Ozzy fucking Osbourne.
it's... Do you know what? It's not like he's got amazing range, it's not like he's got amazing anything, really. He is just amazing. Because it's Ozzy.
Excuse me.
As a vocalist... yeah, alright, he's got like a monumental voice that we will never forget, but why
It's
is that?
iconic.
It is iconic, but why is that? Is that more because of who it is, and because of how much exposure everyone's had to it over the years, and the fact that he has defied death, and I'm pretty sure has got a fucking pact with Satan, that is, if he can cheat death for another 10, 15 years or whatever, then doctors reckon he should be dead by now. This is the thing, like... he has put in a lot of hard work and a lot of time and effort into paving where he is now.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't fault it. I mean, the thing is, as we're discussing vocalist of the band entirely, we've got to mention Dio as well. Because Dio was Black Sabbath for a short amount of time before Ozzy was like, nah, Black Sabbath is my name. And then they changed to Heaven and Hell. So Dio has also got a fucking voice on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking Dio. It's a tough one. Obviously, Ozzy's the main one because I think it was like literally one album done with Dio, and then that's when they transitioned to Heaven and Hell.
But I mean, even whether you include him or not, it's still fucking tough, man.
Yeah. As we're mentioning faults with the actual person as well, or gains from the actual person, this man did cheat on his wife with the nanny or some bullshit. I don't know.
I didn't actually know about that.
Yeah, it was fairly recent. They were going to get divorced, and Sharon was like, nah, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll milk your money out of you, and then you can leave me the rest of it when you die, you old man.
Wow.
That's basically what she's thinking.
It's very possible. So,
Interesting developments.
in recent years, his voice has gone to shit a bit.
Yeah, but then he is like 102, so...
Yeah. And has had about 50,000 grams of cocaine in his life. Among other things, I'm sure.
Definitely not an exaggeration.
Yeah. Boop. So, yeah. It's fucking Ozzy. He's legendary. He's got an iconic voice. And it's amazing. Especially in the early years, it's just great. So I can't really comment too much more on that.
M Shadows.
M Shadows. So we've gone over vocalist a bit already in the last round, I believe. So we'll only touch over it now to recap. I think he's a great vocalist. I think he's got the range, he's got the screams, and from early career, and
has
less so
shown
now.
that he has severe ability to adapt and to change his vocal style to fit a song. You know the name of the cover.
Of Black Sabbath.
No, the cover that...
Malaguena Sala Rosa.
There you go, thank you.
Malaguena Sala Rosa.
I am still to this day fucking amazed beyond belief at how well he pulls that off.
Yeah, like I mentioned last time, holding that high note is just...
It's just amazing. He's
fucking sick.
And that is sheer commitment, and I do really fucking respect him for that. Back in the day, though, when he first started trying to sing, I love Seize the Day. I love that song.
What are you about to say?
It's a struggle for him, man.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No,
Yeah,
Seize the
it
Day is not a struggle for him.
Yeah, it is.
That's...
maybe not nowadays, but it was back then.
No, on album, no.
Yeah.
I have to argue that entirely. He sounds pitch perfect on that.
it's not necessarily about his pitch or about him hitting the notes. He hits the notes. It's fine. It's just, it's not clear cut. His voice was never clear cut. And that's what took me a very long time to actually appreciate his vocals. At first, I will admit this to you now, when me and you used to debate about Avenged all the time, 9 times out of 10 it was just to piss you off. And to get a reaction out of you, because I've never seen somebody go from like fucking perfectly chill to absolutely through the roof in a matter of seconds by walking into a party that this one's here at and being like, Kieran, I haven't seen you in months, Avenged the shit! And then that would spark something that would generally last for most of the evening.
Don't even remember it. I've blocked that horrible behaviour out of my memory.
Well, to be fair, I mean, like I said, 9 times out of 10 it was just to annoy you, and eventually it got to the point where we were talking about Avenged, and I'd say, to be honest, I don't have a problem with the band. I really, really fucking love the band.
Funny enough, it's a common topic to piss me off between a lot of people.
Yeah, I wonder why.
It works every time.
Who's that on your t-shirt though, mate?
Oh, the best band in the world.
No, I see.
Oh, God, it hurt my stomach. I'm not going for another shit this week, do I?
No.
Blah!
So, but for me, it took a very long time to get into the vocal style, especially everything else about the band I loved from the off. The vocals, I'm not going to lie.
That's a lot of people's problem.
I really disliked the vocals.
A lot of people say it's whiny.
It's not even so much that it's that, it's just for the same sort of reasons. He's obviously a much better vocalist than the vocalist from Beartooth, but it sounds like he strains a lot.
No.
Pig getting butt fucked.
No, fuck you.
Ah,
You're doing it to piss me off now,
here's
aren't
the
you?
bias. Here's the bias.
No, I'm not being biased whatsoever. But to say it's like
manizzle for
to
dizzle.
use the same
Off the hizzle
same
drizzle.
phrase as you use for Beartooth's vocalist, who is a million miles down the shitter
100%,
compared to M
100%
Shadows.
agree with you there.
And even on like Seize the Day, I have partial bias to this song, especially because it's not going to be my funeral song, grim. But
Bit morbid, but
I
welcome to
fucking
Deciphered.
love that. The vocals are great.
And he's not biased. He's not.
I'm not
He's
biased.
He's
You'll
not
see
biased.
that I'm not fucking being biased in a minute when we fucking make our.
You give me some stuff away now?
You'll see what happens, but
Okay.
that song
Interesting.
is fucking glorious.
I don't have a problem with the
Yes,
song.
I love his voice.
And I wouldn't change the vocals. This is the thing you need to remember. I would not change the vocals. It's just an observation that I made back then. When the song first came out, I was like, God, it sounds like he struggles a lot to sing.
But now you know better, which means the vocalist isn't wrong, you were wrong.
Or the vocalist has improved and I've just developed an appreciation through sheer listening over the years.
I much prefer my option.
Well, I'll go with the latter. However,
fucking of all the songs.
I love
Sorry.
the song. I wouldn't change anything about the song. I fucking love the song.
The fucking vocal on the song then.
I wouldn't change that either. It's just
To say it ever was like that.
it's a struggle for
You've
him.
hit a nerve, young boy.
I can tell clearly.
No, that's fine. It's good to get passionate.
Yeah.
Who's your vote?
Oh. I mean, what can we base the vote down? Is it what I would prefer to listen to as well? Does that come into it? Is it whose vocals I would prefer to listen to?
I guess
in
so,
general?
because who you think is the better vocalist? As a person and as a vocalist.
Okay.
So,
I feel like you should go first.
I'm picking Ozzy Osbourne.
Are you really?
Yeah, I am.
Interesting.
I love M Shadows. I love him to death.
What is it then that makes you pick that?
Because there's not many more iconic voices out there. And while, yes,
Do you
he's
not
on-
feel like M Shadows will be an iconic voice once
I
they've
feel like
reached
he's-
that level?
already hit. I think it's already hit iconic, but there's a certain top tier of vocalists that you just know it's them. And granted, in recent years he's been a bit shit, but you're talking about a person that's been doing it for 45 years or whatever it is. The guy who helped create metal, and there's no debate on that in my opinion.
Nope. Totally agree.
The band as a whole, but the guy is the vocalist. So, yeah, I love M Shadows. I love his vocal range. From screaming to singing, I feel like he does. I feel like he does singing better than Ozzy. I definitely does screaming better than Ozzy. I may put my foot in the air, but as a whole, it's Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay.
I'm trying to take it's locked in. I'm trying to take stature away from it, but stature plays a massive
Stature is
fucking
part of it. It is massively part
And
of it.
his vocals were chilling and haunting back in the day.
100%. Crazy Train. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck me.
Granted, that's his solo stuff, but yeah, either
Well,
way.
yeah, but I mean, that showcases his voice being a bit like, ha ha ha, I'm twisted as fuck, yawn.
Yeah.
And it's just like listening to that song for the first time with the manic laughter and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, this is sick.
Same goes with.
I was like 7.
Another fucking solo track of his, but Mr. Crowley has the same sort of vibe. It's different from the Train one. And Crazy Train, thank you.
The Train one.
Went straight out of my head. But
Choo
yeah,
choo!
I've got to choose Ozzy.
Fair enough. I'm actually picking M Shadows.
Are you?
I am, because despite everything that I say about his vocal style being quite difficult to get used to, I've just had more exposure to it. I love Black Sabbath. I think Ozzy's great, but I listen to Avenged more, and I think you're right. The stature of Ozzy Osbourne's vocal style and his voice is way up there, and maybe the same can't be said for M Shadows, but in my mind, Ozzy is only as monumental for his vocal style because it's never really changed all that much. M Shadows can do loads with his voice. Loads. And more than I would have ever have given him credit for back in when I first had that opinion of, like, oh god, it sounds like you're struggling a lot. If somebody had said, like, well, I'll tell you what, in 10 years' time, they're going to release an album that's going to blow your fucking balls out. And on the B-side of that album, there's going to be a cover of a fucking Spanish song. I suppose it's technically the same thing. That's going to just fucking make me go a bit insane. And it did. And the first time I listened to it, that is exactly how I felt. Was just like, what the fuck? Like, how could I have ever underestimated this man?
It's incredible.
It is. And for that reason, I am picking Mr. Shadows.
So we have a tie. Therefore, that topic is disregarded. Well, it's still took into mind, but it's not going to count for anything.
So, next up, we have Image and Artwork. Not again.
Hi, welcome back. We just cut out slightly, which is kind of worrying.
A little bit.
Maybe somebody's streaming something, I don't know. No pun intended. Oh, we lost a viewer. Probably because we lost connection.
Probably because, I'm going to be interested to see if we play this back and it's literally just like a freeze across the whole fucking thing.
Can the person watching please comment to confirm that everything is working properly? Apart from the 2 cutouts, is everything going okay?
How long have the cutouts lasted? How long were they cut on your end before our end? Because they've literally been like, boop, you've lost connection, boop, it's back again.
Yeah, and if we lose this video, I'm going to fucking cry.
I might as well, because I put a lot of fucking hard work into my research this week, and I never do that because I am not a professional.
Don't put yourself down, bro. You're fine.
I mean, I'm not. It's my choice.
Oh, okay, then you fucking carry on.
Image and artwork for Black Sabbath.
Image, yes, indeed. So, image
Holy shit.
and artwork is an interesting one.
Holy shit.
So, Black Sabbath definitely have, as a band themselves, image-wise, I mean...
Back in the day, especially. Back in the day, they were a haunting sort of thing.
Haunting, to look at them, very gothic. Actually, I've seen photos of them back in the day when they're less gothy, and it's just long, wavy, out here hair, and it looks genuinely fucking hilarious. There have been 3 cutouts. Okay, thank you very much.
Shit.
That's annoying, we only saw 2 of them. Now, so there's been... Yeah, the image and artwork overall, it's great. So the image of the band, especially in their latter day, as they got older, just looks so much more fucking gothic and look like the grandparents you want to fuck with.
Pretty much, yeah. The type of grandparents that have, like, genuine skeletons in their closet and not the metaphorical sense. Can't really fault it. And the artwork as well has kind of preceded their image.
Yeah, the artwork is very intriguing. The one outside that little kind of house might be their debut album, but I might be wrong. That's always quite iconic.
100%.
Anything on Black Sabbath more for that?
No, I think we've pretty much covered it. There's not really many faults that you can pick out for that, really.
No. With Avenged, I think we may have covered this anyway, but I'm not sure.
Image and artwork we have gone over. No.
I was writing the podcast the other day for the special, and I was going over this, fun enough, so I'm getting confused. But I don't think we have gone over it. So, image and artwork. Rob, take it away.
Decided. Well, I will start with artwork because you're probably a bit sort of in a more advantageous position to comment on their image as a band. So I will take artwork. I fucking love their artwork. In some places it's really simplistic and stuff, and Cam Rackham,
yeah.
fucking brilliant. I know.
who I found out did not design the Death Bat recently. I learnt something from this podcast coming up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
He's done most of their fucking work for them, though. City of Evil cover was him, the entirety of the...
And you know what? So fucking sick.
So good.
So fucking sick. But I think even the simplicity behind Avenged Sevenfold and Waking the Fallen, it suits what they're doing.
Yes.
At any given time, it suits what they're doing. Like for me, the Stage album cover is perfect because it's like the first step into something that is like a new sound for Avenged, in my opinion. It sounds just like them, and you can identify with it straight away. This is why I put, for me anyway, and a lot of people disagree, and I don't give a fuck. For me, The Stage is their best album, just about. It was always going to be between that, City of Evil, and Self-Titled, and for me, it's just about taking the con now.
Interesting.
And I just feel like that kind of does everything. Like their artwork kind of speaks the volume of the album, if that makes sense. Like Self-Titled was very plain and stuff, but
Well, yeah, there was the reason for that, actually. First of all, The Stage, just quick side note, Zaki V designed that.
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, man.
That is awesome.
He does a lot of art. He's got his own little...
And I think it's sick.
Yeah, I really like it. He's got his own clothing brand, which will go into more detail another time.
Yes.
So that's not really relevant now, but yeah, Zaki does a lot of designing. In fact, the t-shirt I had from the London pop-up shop, this obviously says Avenged Sevenfold, and it's got the 5 of them standing as like silhouettes, and it's based from A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Zaki's design.
Brilliant.
Yeah, just love it.
Fucking excellent.
But going on to the self-titled, it's sorry, that's the tide that's going through. It's simplistic because they went with this. We're calling this album Avenged Sevenfold because this is the best album to describe us because we're so different with every track, just like they are with every album. So they were like plain simple, white death bat, job done. Every album. So they got actually, I'm not sure it's intentional, but albums 1, 3, 5, and 7, which is Sound of Trumpet, City of Evil, Nightmare, and The Stage. They all have specific designs. Albums 2, 4, and 6, Waking the Fallen, Avenged Sevenfold, and Nightmare, Hail to the King, all have death bat designs.
Yeah.
Only just death bats.
Simplistic.
Yeah, but 2 and 6, Waking the Fallen and Hail to the King, they have alternate covers which go so once you take the sleeve off, that's where the cover is, kind of thing.
Right, okay.
Or I don't think Hail to the King even had that. It was kind of like inside the book somewhere, but they have alternate ones. Avenged Sevenfold is the only one about the album that is to not have an alternate thing. But if you look in the book, almost every song has its own cover.
Has its own like artwork to go with it. That's sick.
So
I like that.
That's very interesting. As for and also the death bat is iconic. It's known,
and it is part of their image as a band now as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. So
their image overall is how they appear on stage. It's kind of just go out there dressed as normal guys. So I can't really comment too much on image as you see them. Whereas Black Sabbath, you'd see more of an image.
On stage live, maybe, and nowadays especially, maybe. But they have done shows where they were like, especially when City of Evil, I can imagine, because obviously, like, you take fucking, what do you call it? The big fucking song that everyone knows.
By Black Sabbath?
No, Avenged, off of City of Evil.
Back Country?
No, the other one.
Beast and the Harlot.
Beast and the Harlot, thank you. I don't know why that fucking slipped my mind. The way that they dress in that is very kind of like gothic, and it suits like the setting of the song, if that makes sense. Like, it really fucking suits it. I bet they have done shows where they have had like costume and shit designed for them in that sense, like maybe back in the day. But nowadays, you're right, they do just come out in their shirts and jeans and shit like that.
Yeah.
And it just works for them.
Yeah, back in the day they were a lot darker.
Yeah.
More gothy.
And it works a lot better for them to just be the guys now, pretty much.
Sin always, when it came out beforehand, like he had the kind of like the hat similar to Slash, but not the same size.
Yeah, he had like a little pork pie type hat thing.
Kind of, yeah, an homage to. It was his own style, but probably an homage to one of his favourite guitarist, Slash. But that's that. Someone probably came, it's a rip-off.
No, fuck that. It's a different hat entirely.
Yeah. So, yeah, for image and artwork, you want to go first? Do you want to go first?
I'm going to go with Avenged.
I'm going to go with Avenged.
100%.
Easily.
That's not to say that Sabbath and Ozzy and all of their projects aren't fucking well illustrated. and that
No.
they don't have an image, they're great. But I just feel like Avenged carry something that Sabbath just don't.
There's so much more to it. Yeah, I agree.
Which brings us down to discography for the win.
Yep.
Potentially.
Potentially, if not a fan vote. Now, discography for Black Sabbath.
I mean, I'm not massively familiar with it.
I'm not massively familiar with it. I'm not massively familiar with it either. However, it can be definitely pointed out that their early years created metal.
100%. And that should be well looked at within
Yeah.
this topic, I feel.
Absolutely.
Because none of the music that we identify with nowadays would necessarily exist in the same light that it does without
It would not.
It wouldn't.
No.
It just wouldn't.
A world would be very different without Black Sabbath. And there are people out there that fight the idea that Black Sabbath created metal, and those people are what we like to call wrong.
Um,
Their later years, it seemed to die down. 13 was pretty good, but the years before that, the stuff with Dio all got a bit different, and I can't really comment on too many tracks. It seems like when they play live, or when they played live towards the end of the stuff, it was a lot of just the earlier tracks and a couple now and again.
a couple of
from
the newer ones, but
ones.
it was more like, let's play the monumental ones that's going to
Yeah.
get everyone screaming back at us kind of thing.
Exactly.
Which is kind of what you want for a farewell, kind of getting ready to farewell.
Absolutely, but it also shows that they didn't create enough in the later days. So it's a weird contrast between early days of creating the genre that we love and know, and the later days of, okay,
Yeah,
and making music
essentially.
still, that's cool.
And in my mind, that kind of balances it out, so it's like a 50-50, really. It's like, yes, nobody can deny how fucking incredible your influence has been. However, you're not influencing now. I mean, you are. They are. But just not in the same way. And you're right, they're not kicking out the same kind of quality of music. They're not kicking out the same amount.
Yeah,
It's not the same.
It's not.
not the same.
but it's hard to ignore that massive, what they did for us.
100%. So
yes.
that said, moving on to Avenged, we probably wouldn't have an Avenged discography without Sabbath.
No, that's correct.
And that should be something to think about.
Oh, absolutely. Does that mean it's better? That's debatable because it's down to personal taste, of course.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, Avenged have made a point of, well, they make music how they want to. They've never been shy of. They never stuck to. Oh, we better make this album for the fans to make them happy. We're like, we'll do what we want, and if the fans like it, fucking brilliant.
If they don't, fucking brilliant.
Yeah, cool. Bye bye. But they've started with Sounds of a Trumpet, pretty much all screaming metalcore, to more defined metalcore, Waking the Fallen, with half singing, half screaming. City of Evil was just pure metal. Avenged Sevenfold, you can't label that album as a genre because it's so different with every fucking song. Hail to the King, they went with, Nightmare, I would say back to, but it's entirely different from City of Evil, but just heavy fucking metal. Hail to the King was classic rock and metal.
Yeah, very much so. Like their first sort of album that would solidify them, in my mind anyway, it was the first kind of album that I would put them in the same category as bands like Metallica with.
Yep.
It just had that classic metal feel. I didn't like it, but I get why loads of people probably did.
It's my least favourite album, but I still love it to bits. There are some albums, there's some songs in there which are fucking
Shepherd of
killer.
Fire is on...
Shepherd of Fire,
Is that
opening
on?
track.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Acid Rain, the closing track, Coming Home. There's really only one track that... I don't dislike any track by them, that's me being biased entirely, but there's only one track on there that...
Don't really care for that much.
Yeah, like if it comes on, I'm like, yeah, sick,
What's
but This Means War,
Interesting.
which is almost a carbon copy instrumentally of, and somewhat verbally, not the words,
There's a
but...
Metallica song, isn't there?
Yeah, sad but true. Anywho, then going on to the most recent of the stage, and that is progressive metal,
Fucking blowing.
in a way.
Mind blowing. I love that album.
They seem to gain strengths with each album. Yes, they have their ups and downs, like Hail to the King, it's known as down. Again, there's people that love it. The most streamed song on Spotify is Hail to the King. I think second is Backcountry, and then third is Shepherd of Fire. But I know Hail to the King is the top stream song on Spotify.
Mad.
Yeah.
I would not have anticipated that in a million years.
I didn't. I thought it would be Beast in the Heart or Backcountry
Yeah,
or
100%.
almost Afterlife, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe even Nightmare. But no.
Wow. Hail to the King.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So, yeah. Basically what we're arguing here is the influence and the madness, although we're not taking influence too much because that's a different topic, but we can't ignore that with discography at all.
Absolutely.
So
not.
Sabbath creating metal with their albums, which influenced everyone in metal, even if you don't know it. If you're a band that don't cite Black Sabbath as an influence, that's fine, because they're probably not directly, but you are influenced by people that were influenced by Black Sabbath. That's something that's died out a little bit afterwards. And then you've got Avenged, who have just gone from height to height and maintained greatness. This is really fucking difficult for me. I'm not lying to you. I am stuck.
Fortunately, sir.
I want to go first, if that's what you're going to say.
You are, yeah.
Yep. You went first last time.
Yeah.
And I want to go first anyway, because I don't want anything to change my judgment. Not that I think it would anyway. If you've got any more talk to do, I could deal with in a minute.
I mean, I don't really have anything else to add. No, I'm just desperately trying to, because I have a feeling I know exactly where this is going. I'm just going to get the post ready. Yeah.
I'm going with Black Sabbath. Locked in.
Mad. Very mad indeed. I mean, I'm struggling because I feel like in 10 years' time, when there's other people that are doing a podcast and doing a tournament, they're going to be talking about Avenged in the same way that we're talking about Black Sabbath now.
Mm-hmm.
And I am very desperately trying to take that into account, because if Avenged had been around at the same time as Sabbath, they would be just as monumental.
Mm-hmm.
Just as genre-defining.
Mm-hmm.
Just as I bet you wish you had picked another band now.
Sticking with it, man.
No, that's good. That's cool. I appreciate that. Fuck. For
any context, this is tearing me the fuck apart. Rob. Who is your pick?
I'm going to have to go with Sabbath. It's going to have to be done. So how did that work out in the end then? So we had one stagnant topic first, then Avenged.
It was Black Sabbath. No, was stagnant.
Stagnant because we picked one each, and then...
Fuck, it's not over.
It's not over.
There's me thinking Sabbath went through.
No.
I don't know why I thought that. Wait, what was the first one? Vocalist. I went for Sabbath. Yes, stagnant. Then we both went for Avenged. Then we both went for Sabbath. Holy fuck. Avenged is still in the fucking game. I was like, blah. Fan vote. Rob, how many did Sabbath get?
2.
How many did Avenged get?
7.
Avenged
Avenged will stay in the game.
Don't ever fucking call me biased again, anyone, Mr. Cooling. Wow. That was a rollercoaster of emotions. I thought it was over.
I could tell, actually. I could tell.
That was difficult.
So Sabbath are out. Avenged are in.
They are. What's the current time? We've hit our hour and a half, haven't we?
What time did we start?
8:40. So
yes.
10:10. Do we want another? Or are we going to cut it there?
We're going to do one more. One more.
Emotionally not prepared. Do you know who the bands are? I don't. I think it's Slipknot and Metallica, but I could be wrong.
No, I think you are right. Let me have a look. You are bang on the money.
Here comes the money. Here we go.
So
money talks.
oh yeah, you shake, I pick.
Yeah, you're one
Shake,
of 3.
shake.
Ooh.
My tub out. That'll do. So,
I can't believe it.
Slipknot versus Metallica.
Slipknot on
Live show.
live show.
Oh,
That's fucking
fuck.
difficult. Oh my goodness.
So that's up first. Next up,
will be the rhythm of drummer.
Slipknot and Metallica.
Wow.
Well, alrighty
Thanks,
then.
sir.
And finally,
Let's put these back in for next week.
current relevance.
Oh, that's 2 really difficult
Holy
ones.
fucking shit.
Interesting.
Right, so we are starting off with live show. Slipknot are first. You have the con, sir.
Okay, so Slipknot having a fucking incredible live show. There's no denying that.
What?
They are insane live, no
Shut
matter
the fuck up.
what kind of albums they release.
Oh, mate.
Which, by the way, side point, you rated Beartooth 4 out of 10, and that's the same what we decided. Well, we both agreed that we would have, if we're never going to review it. But the 0.5, the grade chapter, for me was a 4 out of 10. I thought it was the same for you, wasn't it?
Essentially.
Same as Beartooth. Ooh.
I don't like the Grey Chapter. I think it's a pile of shit.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but it's doubly better than that. But anyway, sorry, back onto the topic. Yeah, live shows, Slipknot, I've got it. Slipknot are one, some of the kings of live show.
100%. And I mean, it's been some and some. I've seen them.
For fuck's sake, camera.
Eh. It's been some and some. So the time that I saw them, Mick Thompson was dead to the world. He literally just stood there playing.
I like that. There's something weird about it. He just like, he knows he looks like a demon. He's
He
like,
does.
yeah.
He looks like an absolute beast. It's just that when he's actually going nuts and fucking swaying his hair everywhere.
True.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
still, when he's doing that kind of shit,
Yeah,
he's still glued to
got
the spot, but he's just
statue. Yeah,
fucking nuts and like shaking his hair and shit. He didn't do any of that when I saw them. Didn't do any of that. He barely moved. It was almost like you could kind of tell behind his mask he was just thinking, I can't wait to be out of this fucking band. Obviously, it hasn't happened. Good. But that was just the kind of vibe I got. And that's the only time that I've ever seen any of their members not going ballistic.
Yeah, they are a very ballistic kind of band.
Sean Graham.
Sean, yeah. Literally nuts.
What the fuck?
Beating the fuck out of a drum with a baseball bat.
Yeah, literally. And that is making music.
Yeah.
Um,
The whole Joey's, Joey at the time, his drum set on the final song was Spit Out, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
When it would go up and
fucking
stand inside and just spinning
upside
around.
down and shit. And
Fucking fantastic.
Madness. Yeah.
The fire they bring to their shows as well in recent years, great.
Yeah. Well, they've had decent pyrotechnics on hand ready to go whenever they can use it.
Yeah.
But recently, obviously, due to their fucking stature nowadays as a band, they've been able to really fucking milk it for as much as they can. And they do it well.
Yeah, I can't really say more than that.
Metallica live show.
Fucking fantastic.
I have never been to one, so you are going to have to
Yeah, I've
take
been to
this.
2 or 3 now. Absolutely,
3 for yourself, isn't it?
I think so. Sonosphere, 2 downloads. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're fucking great. Or maybe it's 2 Sonospheres and 1 download. I don't know. I can't
3 festivals.
fault them again. And they are great. They bring a fucking live show. They're less with fire as much, but more visuals. And that's absolutely fine. Fucking great. They know how to handle a crowd, just like, to be fair, both bands do. They really... They play the instruments extremely well. Both bands do. I mean, there's not much I can go into much detail. There's less theatrics as there are with Slipknot, such as the revolving drum. But...
You wouldn't want to waste revolving drums on Lars Ulrich.
no.
We'll get to that in a minute.
We will.
Seeing as I've literally just remembered what the second fucking topic was that
Yes.
we pulled out. Let's not.
So... yeah, you just can't argue, you can't argue their stuff. They have less theatrics, but
Okay.
he knows how to hold a crowd. And when I
Who,
saw them at
James?
Sonosphere, yeah, James Hetfield.
Oh, fuck yeah.
When I saw them at Sonosphere and they played The Memory Remains, and you know that end bit's like... La, 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 la.
I bet the entire fucking crowd.
After the song ended, no joke, for about 3 minutes.
Wow.
James was literally like, even James was shocked. He was like, we got more songs, guys. And it was like, la, 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 la. And also the whole Darlington's family.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's the only fucking frontman that would have been able to do that for 10 minutes straight.
Yeah,
and not have people
literally
go,
10
Alright,
minutes.
dude, shut the fuck up and play.
Could have played my favourite song, but I'm not even that angry. Although I really want to see Unforgiven 2 live. Please play it. Obviously I'm watching. Now, have you got a pick, or do you want me to pick?
I can only go with Slipknot.
And I can go with either, but it's definitely Slipknot.
100%, right.
And that's not to put down Metallica's live show because they're fucking incredible, but I
It's
like
a different
theatrics.
thing
I
altogether.
like the theatrics,
It's
yeah.
a different kind of show altogether. So, Slipknot, 1. Metallica, 0.
Yeah. So,
Moving on to drummer.
yeah. Should we make this
Quick and
selfish?
simple.
We've gone over the drummer of
Metallica.
Metallica before, so we'll quickly go on Slipknot. Joey, fucking incredible, one of the best drummers, maybe my favourite one alive.
Which is insane to think about. But yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. Even Jay Weinberg is pretty fucking good too.
Is he the new one?
Yeah.
Excellent. I thought, for some reason, I had Chris Adler in the back of my head. Why does Chris Adler ring any bells?
Don't know. He's Lamb of God.
I know he is.
He also
But he's-
filled in for Megadeth for a while.
Could be that. Fuck knows. Yeah. I mean, the new drummer, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I haven't listened to that album. Don't care.
Live though, great.
I bet. Yeah, I bet. And if he can pull off the older songs that Joey
Yeah,
plays,
I'd say so.
100%. He's got to be a good drummer then. 100%. Because Joey is fucking amazing.
Should we sum up Metallica in one sentence?
Wank.
Shit. So I'm voting for Slipknot.
I'm voting for Slipknot, which
Slipknot go through.
basically means this round is over. However, we are going to continue with the next topic because
just
it's
in case.
fucking relevant.
It is fucking relevant. Literally. Current relevance. In 2018.
In 2010,
So, Schlaupnaut.
Schlaupnaut in 2010.
They are extremely relevant.
100%.
They have a massive cult following.
Still.
However,
Dying off.
Yep. I don't think the new album helped. I don't think the changes of lineups helped. Obviously, Paul
I
Gray
don't
could not
think
be
Corey
helped.
being a dick helped.
Yeah, very possible. So we've got to take into consideration how it is now, because this year it's not current relevance 5 years ago, where it may be a different result, in my opinion. They've slowed down. They've still got their cult following, no doubt. But are they influencing bands that much? Not to my knowledge. I'm sure there are bands out there go Slipknot, but is it their current relevance or is it what they did before?
I don't actually know any bands that I can think of that would outright attribute Slipknot as an influence.
I know one that said it, and that's Bring Me the Horizon.
Ugh.
Which is unfortunately gone such greatness to utter dog shit. Probably the one thing worse than Beartooth. Now,
I actually think I would prefer to listen to some Bring Me albums than that Beartooth album again. I genuinely do. Because at least...
I think I would rather Death. Well,
I didn't know that was an option.
I'll probably still choose Beartooth, but we'll see about that. Well, no, we hopefully won't see about that. Do you have anything more to say about Slipknot and current relevance?
No, they are just still really fucking relevant.
Yeah, they are, but yeah.
On the flip side, so are Metallica.
Metallica
Still to this day.
Are massively relevant.
Still to this day.
They are still... I personally feel that they're still influencing more bands to start up.
I think
Slipknot
so.
at the current time.
I think so. I genuinely do. Mostly because Slipknot are a very acquired and specific taste. Metallica can appeal to a lot more people. That's not to say that Metallica have a bigger fan base. They probably do. I don't know 100%. I'm guessing. Let's be honest though, it sounds more likely that Metallica have a much bigger fan base. I know this is a different topic kind of thing, but in that sense, they appeal to a wider crowd of people. And I do think that if you were to play a non-metal fan some Metallica, and then some fucking like Eyeless or something like that, they'd probably pick Metallica. So it's more widely accessible in that sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And that speaks for current relevance in itself, really. The fact that so many years down the line, after starting off as a fucking simple thrash band that used to go and kick the shit out of clubs and stuff when they were like 16, 17. James looks fucking great when he was like 16, 17. With his massive long hair and shit. Super skinny, but still got exactly the same face that he does.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been doing it for so long. And the fact that they are still influencing, probably, I would agree as well, more bands than, say, Slipknot. I think that is incredible.
Yeah, I agree.
So a vote doesn't count at this point in time because, as you're aware, Slipknot have already gone through. But who would you pick?
Metallica.
You would?
Yeah.
I still would.
Yeah.
I still would. Over
So,
Slipknot.
again, irrelevant, but just in case, if the fan vote came up, what would have been the winner?
Do you really want to know?
Go for it.
Metallica 0, Slipknot 8.
Wow. So
0 people went for Metallica.
that's really unexpected.
So that is really
I thought
unexpected.
Slipknot going to win, maybe like a
2 or 3.
5-3.
Yeah, 2 or 3 votes in it. Not 8.
No.
To nothing.
Yeah, that's insane.
But I will, for the sake of showing you, and just to make sure that I'm not bullshitting myself.
No, Slipknot.
Okay, technically 1 for Metallica.
What? Oh, so yeah, 8-1. Because Dell commented Metallica.
That is still fucking wild.
That is wild. What was the fan vote for Revenge, by the way? Did we check that? I can't remember.
Yeah, 8,
We did.
8-2.
Yeah. There you go. Further or not?
I mean, I could.
I mean,
We can bag one more in just over 6 minutes.
yeah, probably.
Let's do it. One more.
That leaves one more for next week, though. It's the only thing.
Okay, let's not do that because
we either do 2 more or...
Yeah, 2 more. We'll do 2 this week, 2 next week.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go.
Bye.
So, thank you very much for joining us on this roller coaster of fucking emotions.
I'm fucking speechless about a few things, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking Metallica didn't get any votes.
That's crazy.
That is fucking wild. And it just
Revenge
goes to
went
show.
through and I thought they weren't going to.
However, just for the sake of interest, can we see who they're going to be up against?
Slipknot. Avenged Slipknot. That's going to be insane. If it was Slipknot or Metallica, it would have been insane either way.
Oh yeah, can you imagine Avenged versus Metallica? Shit the bed.
They lasted about just seconds. Nothing was missed. Weirdly enough, the second time was when Kieran and I said shit at exactly the same time. Well, thanks for letting us know. Thanks for the update.
No marsing.
So, next week on the podcast, we'll be finishing off with the final two matches of the
Round 3.
round 3, which are, I believe...
I will double check that, but I believe Pantera is up there with...
Pantera MCR.
Nope, it is Marilyn Manson MCR first.
Marilyn Manson, My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I've lost the fucking post now.
Typical.
Chepico, Chepico, Chepico.
And the final matchup of round 3.
Pantera and Iron Maiden.
Okay, yeah, both beastie ones.
So it should be a good round.
Yeah, definitely to tap it off.
Shit.
There will be the fan vote of the review, which has been entirely... I'm not going to bother checking, because last time I checked it was 11-4. Entirely won by Outside the Box by Hacktivist. They will be being reviewed next week. And finally, the topic for next week, which I just thought of today because I didn't have one written down.
Oh my god!
Is, if you remember, it may have been our debut episode, I'm not quite sure, when we did our personal top 10 bands to play at a festival for us.
That was second or third episode, but yes.
Excellent. This time, we're doing it again. Except, it's going to be our Nightmare Festival.
Oh no.
10 bands we never want to see at a festival.
Essentially, we're going to make the worst lineup possible.
Yes, exactly that.
Do the same rules apply where we can have them play the worst songs that we hate the most from
Yeah,
this band?
they play how you want. All the only rules, per se, is that it's within the rock and metal world, so you can't go choose Rihanna because that makes no sense to this. So it's within the rock and metal world.
She's metal as fuck.
Well, suck me sideways. So that's going to be our topic for next week. The Festival of Shite. Hacktivist Outside the Box, not related to the first comment. And finishing off deciding the podcast, deciding the tournament.
Round 3. Should be a fucking good one. Let's hope there's a bit more news than potentially the end of one of the greatest bands ever. And let's actually do a topic where I don't have to research figures and make my head hurt and stuff.
It's painful.
It was a fucking awesome topic though.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I really enjoyed it. Awesome guys. Tune in next week. And we'll be back.
Bye-bye.
Aside.